how y'all doing? This brother Phil. Just want to share a couple of things that I got out the uh, Middle East news. Uh, the writer of this is Richard Silverstein, dated July 12th, 2012. It says Israel invents Syria weapons of mass destruction threat. IDF commander threatens intervention. Syria appears to be entering an even more chaotic and dangerous period in its civil war now that Israel's officials are concocting potential threats that must be addressed by Israel intervention. Now, listen to this very careful. I myself love Bible prophecy, and right now we're living in a very, very important time. There's a Chinese proverb, you live in interesting times, and that we do. The article goes on to say the latest series of stories derived from U.S. and Israel intelligence circles and suggests that Syria has a vast stockpile, the Wall Street Journal, or hundreds of tons, Rupert Murdoch Sky News, of chemical weapons that could fall into the hands of Al Qaeda, Iran's Ayatollahs, or God knows who, should Bashar al-Assad regime fail. Now it says that Israel, IDF, is thinking about intervention. Now remember, NATO is also thinking about intervention. So who's going to intervene? The place that we're looking for is Psalms 83. We know that the Arabian Confederation will come together just before Ezekiel 38 and 39. Now, this article goes on to say hundreds of tons of serious stockpile of deadly nerve gas could fall into the hands of a terrorist group if the regime of Bashar al-Assad falls apart and amidst widening concerns. I don't believe this is going to happen myself. I think Bashar is going to push the button himself. I think he's going to be the one pulling the trigger. And therefore, at least it's going to appear that way, that's going to be the trigger point. The article goes on to say that Sky News reports in particular seems to be pure garbage, that this is being concocted. Now, who's controlling the opposition in Syria? We know the CIA, Mossad, the M5. There is a huge military buildup. Even the Germans are there. Even France. I mean, everybody you can think of is coming to the dance. What do we see coming? World War III. World War III at mass level. World War One was started by Duke Ferdinand getting assassinated. There's going to come a time when there's going to be an event that will set this thing off. An event that the masses will blame on Syria to give them quick access, give NATO a reason to come in, give Israel a reason to come in. But at this point, the closer they get to Damascus, the closer they get to the capital of Damascus, you can look for a order from Bashar Assad to execute as many people of his own as he can. And then after that, he's going to get another order to his generals to shoot chemical weapons over to Tel Aviv. Then Israel will get into their jet bombers and will fly over Damascus and drop a neutron bomb. Now, how do we know this? We don't know. That's just my opinion. Leave a comment down below and tell me what y'all think. I'd love to hear what y'all think about this. The Russians and the Chinese are really high-spoken on their belief that they the West needs to stay out of Syria's business and let Syria fight it out themselves. Albert Pike envisioned 3 world wars. The first one, we know, that was World War One, and after that, the League of Nations was started. Then World War II, and after that, the United Nations was started. After World War III, there'd be another organization that will be started at that point. Now, you notice that there was no such thing as the League of Nations before the League of Nations was formed. There was no such thing as the United Nations until the United Nations was formed. And there would not be any such thing as the beast coming out of the sea having 10 horns. And this, I do believe, is in existence today, and it's called the Mediterranean Union. Check out the Mediterranean Union. Look it up on your search engines. This is a organization started by Nikolai Sarkozy, and it covers the territory was held by the old Roman Empire. Now, if you look in Daniel chapter 2, you're going to see Nebuchadnezzar was the head of gold, Media Persia was the head and shoulders, the chest area was Greece, and the waist, of course, and then you go down to the 2 legs, which is Rome divided into 2. Now, what is the 2? One leg represents the east and one leg represents the west. You have to have the east and the west and the 10 toes. You have to have that. Go down the leg. Go straight down the leg. Pretend like you're rubbing your wife on the leg. Go straight down her legs to her feet. They are both connected. That means that the legs must transform into the feet, and the legs must be the feet. So in other words, the feet must be a divided 10 Roman Empire that was started by Nikolai Sarkozy. This will be the trigger point, which is Syria today. So the war that we're seeing now is Syria. The Antichrist could rise up out of Syria as the next leader. A lot of this is speculation. This is what makes Bible prophecy fun. However, I'm using the Bible. Should I speculate? I haven't seen anybody say that, I haven't seen any preachers go to hell for speculating who the Antichrist is going to be. I think it gets kind of vain to search for the Antichrist when Christians aren't supposed to be here. So if you don't know Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, we need to have Jesus to get to heaven. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. Jesus also promised that in my Father's house there are many mansions. If it was not so, I wouldn't have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I'll come again and receive you unto myself. We are in the last days, folks, and we got little time. Make sure you know Him, and make sure you're watching. God bless.